It's the start of hour number 2 here on Sports Talk. Welcome back, everybody. Steve Kaplowitz with you. And oh my goodness gracious, we're continuing our Zoom calls with Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com, who normally has joined us over the phone the last couple of years. But yes, we had this brainchild. Let's start Zooming our interviews and letting you get a chance to not only have better sound quality, but in the case of Lee, we're going to get a chance to actually watch our segment on demand after the show airs, which is something we're really excited about. Great to see you, and great to, when I say see you, I mean it. I'm actually getting a chance to look at you for the first time, Lee. Appreciate you joining us today. How are you?
I'm good. I might be distracted looking back at you, and if you're wondering why am I wearing a jacket, we've had back-to-back days of 52 and this morning 46 degrees, so a little bit nippy here in Miami.
I don't ever even recall 40-degree weather in Miami, but that's just
no. Now it's back up to about 65 right now, but It was 46 when I left the house this morning.
Well, I guess the good news is that as cold as it is outside, you've been red hot at ParamountSports.com. Even last week on our segment, you were 4-1, so you're on fire ending the year, and that's the way you want to be to wrap up 2020, isn't it?
Yeah, so maybe it takes me back to Muhammad Ali, and he always say you want to start strong, and if you have a little lull, make it in the middle, and then you finish strong. That's what we usually do because I do so much preparation leading into the year, and then the lines sometimes get tough, but we have really not had a down period this year because with our last Sunday, we went 3-1. We came literally a play if Atlanta pulls it off from pulling out a 4-0. And then on Monday, we had the Washington football team when they went outright against Pittsburgh. So we've now won 11 out of 14 weeks in the football, had another winning week in the UFC, 25 out of 34 winning UFC cards, and started in basketball 18-5-1. So I don't know what people are waiting for. It is a lot more challenging with COVID, and, I've lost some games that I loved. I had to take them down. And finding about injuries and COVID cases and things like that. But when you're winning, you enjoy the challenge.
No doubt. Has there been an NFL team that's been really good for you this season that you've been almost, right on every single week in terms of either, taking them or knowing when not to play?
I think it's the Steelers. I think I maybe have lost once, and that's going 4 against them every single week. So, I think I was a week early and thought that they'd lose, but I thought they were really good. I thought they were underrated to start. And then with the Dallas game, I saw a decline in that team. I saw some things I didn't like, and not just the drop passes. That's the obvious thing people look at. I saw both of their defensive ends crashing a lot and not playing their assignments. And Baltimore took advantage of it. They almost won that game. They almost pulled it out. So you got to look at the little things. Sometimes that was certainly not one of the better 11-0 teams we had seen. So I knew the end was coming, and Washington was playing some good football leading into that game.
Well, let's get started. We got a busy week, a lot of games to cover, including 2 in college, 3 in the pros. We'll start with the Pac-12, which has been such a tough season because there hasn't been a lot of Pac-12 football this year. But one of the games will be at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. You've got number 15 USC playing UCLA. It's one of the classic rivalries. USC is 4-1 on the year. Obviously 4-0 on the year. They're still one of the undefeated teams left in the Pac-12. UCLA 3-2. And yet, as you look at this game right now, Lee, we're going to play it with USC -3. When you talk about the rivalry, do you sometimes need to throw the records out the window, or in this case, should USC, still being undefeated, clearly go into this huge game as the clear-cut favorite?
Well, the public will look at USC as the better team. Maybe not the people who are sharp and people who study games. So they are undefeated. They have more talent. But right now, I think UCLA is getting coached up. I think they have a really good dual threat quarterback who's finally healthy. He was not healthy to start the year, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So he's playing good football, and it's been a host series. The host has covered 34 of the 51 meetings. So UCLA looks far better than the last couple of years. I think USC I just don't think they have a lot of physicality, and I don't think it begins up front. I don't think they run the ball. Throwing the ball around looks nice, but when you face a team that's similar to you or similar as far as talent and is going to be ready for you, you have to exert that dominance at the line of scrimmage and also on the defensive line. I don't see that in USC anymore here. I think they're a finesse team. I think UCLA is going to hand it to them. I think the wrong team's favored. I think they win the game outright 38-34.
Wow. All right. So there's your first big one, USC losing for the first time. I love the second game you're taking us on. You're taking us to a Mountain West game. And let's be honest, Lee, we haven't played Mountain West all year, but you've got one Friday night at 8 o'clock from Sam Boyd Stadium in Vegas, Nevada and San Jose State. And it's so interesting because you look at the way this game is shaping up with the Wolfpack 6-1 and the Spartans undefeated at 5-0. I like it. It's different. San Jose State 2.5-point favorites in this one, which takes us into our final college game of the season. Do you believe the Spartans will be able to stay undefeated, or will Nevada win the big one?
Well, as long as Boise beats Wyoming, the winner of this game is going to the Mountain West Conference Championship game. I think some people maybe would have said they thought Nevada had a shot going into the year, but no one. I didn't hear anyone. You read some of these, preseason magazines from Phil Steele. Every year, I mean, all he does is pick chalk. He thinks the Boise's. He thinks, you think he's ever going to put Boise third or fourth? No. So what I had seen was Nick Starkel. He originally started at Texas A&M, the San Jose quarterback. I thought he had beaten out Kellen Mond. I thought he was the better quarterback of the two. But he didn't get the job. They went with the dual threat quarterback, Kellen Mond. Then he moves to Arkansas. Horrible coaching situation there. He leaves, go to San Jose State, playing really well. I think he's going to be an NFL draft pick. I think he's going to make it in the NFL, facing off against Carson Strong, really good quarterback for Nevada. Difference here is defense. San Jose State last year, 110th in the country, this year 30th. And Nevada, they just don't tackle players in space. I just don't think they have that type. Watch the tape. They've been lucky. A couple plays, big plays have been called back against teams that got some lucky turnovers here. San Jose State also on a 14-4 against the spread run. I think San Jose State's moving on to the Mountain West Conference Championship 31-24.
What a story that would be if it happens just like that. Unbelievable. So there you go. Our two college games, which gets us into NFL Week 14. Let's get started with these games. Chiefs Dolphins. It's one of the early games from Hard Rock Stadium in your backyard, Miami Gardens. Chiefs are 11-1, undefeated on the road. Dolphins are 8-4. They're 4-2 at home. You look at the way this game shapes up right now, especially in the spread. KC by a touchdown. Now, I love the way the Chiefs have played all year as the defending Super Bowl champions, but the Dolphins have been a good story. You tell me, is 7 points too much for this particular game?
So I think the Dolphins are a year ahead of schedule as far as the rebuild. They're 8-4. I think most people thought they'd be 5-7 to 7-5. I don't think the roster is there yet. I think they're 1 year away. Remember, they have Houston's first and second round pick, and those are going to be some high 10, probably 10 to 12, 10 to 13 in that range, maybe even in the top 10. So they're setting themselves up to fill the needs that they have. And they still have needs at running back, wide receiver. They need an edge rusher and probably another offensive lineman, maybe a big center. But the problem here is they're going to face a Kansas City team that's not going to take them lightly. It's a national game. If Kansas City keeps winning and they take the lead over Pittsburgh, they're going to get that first round bye. There's only one team that gets a bye this year, unlike other years. And even though I love Xavier Howard, great cornerback, maybe the best cornerback in the NFL right now, leads the NFL with 8 interceptions. He can't guard the cheetah and he can't guard Travis Kelce at the same time. I think Kansas City comes to play. They win by 2 touchdowns, 38-24.
Okay. And that takes us to our fourth game, second game in the NFL. Buffalo coming off a huge performance against San Francisco where Allen just looked amazing. He was unstoppable. Yeah. Well, they've got Pittsburgh on the ropes after Pittsburgh's first loss of the season. It's a Sunday night game. Bills by 2.5 in this one. Buffalo's 9-3. Steelers are 11-1. You tell me, it's a road game for Pittsburgh. Orchard Park is never an easy place to play in December. Are the Steelers going to start a little bit of a mini slide here, or can they recover against clearly the best performance of the year that the Bills showed last week?
Okay, so the line started off as Pittsburgh is a 1.5 point favorite. It's moved 4 points. Buffalo's now a 2.5-point favorite. So the public is siding with Buffalo. Last year, if you go by last year's results, you take Buffalo. They played Pittsburgh and won 17-10. But who was the quarterback? Devlin, the Duck Hodges. He threw 4 interceptions in that game. I think they had only 220-something total yards in that game. Now you got Big Ben under center. I think it's a wake-up call. Now, Pittsburgh still has some injuries at the linebacker position, but I think it's a total wake-up call for them. Buffalo's never done well in marquee night games, and I think Pittsburgh bounces back. I think the receivers are going to hit on some big plays. I think they've thrown underneath for so long. Don't be surprised you see some pump and goes, some plays down the field. That's what's happened with Buffalo. They played a 7-man rotation on the defensive line last year. One of their starting defensive linemen tapped out before the year due to COVID. One got injured in camp before the year. They only really have 5 quality defensive linemen. And that extra half second or second these quarterbacks have been given have allowed them to throw the ball down the field. Buffalo's good safeties when they have time and can get over, but they're not the fleetest of foot. I like Pittsburgh. Wrong team's favored. I think they win this game here, 27-20.
That takes us to our final game of the week, and that's going to be a 2:00 on Sunday here in El Paso. Indianapolis and Vegas. Now, Colts are 8-4. Raiders are 7-5. Colts are 4-2 on the road. Raiders are 2-3 at home. The Raiders pulled off one of the great wins in the history of the game, thanks to the Jets and thanks to Greg Williams. Let's be honest. He gave them a gift. It was Christmas in early December, the way that game went down. Colts have been a little more consistent all season long. That being said, Lee, you wonder if the Raiders can build on that momentum. They know they snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. Can they make it another big performance against the Colts, since Indianapolis 2.5-point road favorites in this one?
So Indianapolis has been in wars the last couple of weeks. They've been up against it, playing teams that, top level teams. Now they got to travel, West Coast. They got to play a very offensive minded team, and they play well when they've got the lead. When they have the lead, Rivers, they can dink and doink underneath. They can use their running game, but I don't think Reich is such a great play caller. Last week, when they were up, I think it was by like 6 points, 26-20. What does he run on 4th and 1? He runs a play right into the middle of the line with his smallest running back. Big mistake running Hines. I thought that could have they got lucky. I mean, Houston fumbles the center snap. I mean, a bad snap ends up being the reason they won that game here. But yeah, the Raiders still have some holes, but I think they're coming on, and looks like Carr is finally, third year in this offense, really, he's starting to take hold here. I like the Las Vegas Raiders here, pull off the upset here, 28-26.
Okay, and that takes us to where we started this conversation, ParamountSports.com. You've got a great special right now for 5 football selections. Yep. It's an incredible price. 5s are wild here at ParamountSports.com, Lee. So
we rate our games from 10 to 50 units. Not only have we won 11 out of 14 weeks this year, we rate them, like I said, from 10 to 50. Our 40 to 50 unit plays, which come out maybe every 4 or 5 weeks, maybe, we're 49, 17, and 1 going back to the last 13 years. I have my second biggest play of the year, a 45 unit college play. I'm going to include it. Normally you have to be a monthly or season subscriber. 5 games, and it's an immediate download. The games are ready right now. 5 games, just $55. 4 in college, 1 in the NFL, or you want to get involved with basketball. We're 18-5-1 there. Different ways you can get involved with basketball. Or how about this? The UFC, we won again last week. 5 UFC selections for UFC 256 on Saturday night, just $5. That's right, not $55, what it normally is. $5. Why'd I make it so low? Because I know if I go 3-2, 4-1, or 5-0, you're coming back for more. So 5 UFC selections, $5. 5 football selections, $55. ParamountSports.com, or call us here at the office. We can take the order over the phone, 800-400-9741. In a game of the week, Colorado, undefeated Colorado, playing, looks like a Utah team that's finally gained their footing. We'll give that game for free, 800-400-9741.
Terrific stuff, Lee. Enjoyed the conversation. Look forward to doing it again with you face-to-face right back here next week.
Thanks, Steve. Take care.